Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 36 of the Money Sauce podcast. I'm
I don't know
joined.
if I'm money sauce.
No.
The sauce is here. The money's gone away. Um,
Yeah, we dropped the money, we brought in the pancake. I guess that would just be the maple syrup podcast then, wouldn't it?
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Maple
mean,
syrup's one of the best sauces.
there you go. Perfect on the pancakes, and it's Canada Day. Happy Canada Day, everyone. So,
Happy Canada Day.
it's all on brand today. We're for those that don't recognize the beautiful face and voice that have joined me, that's Pete from Pancakes and Pod, the other podcast on our Four Corners podcast network. We're soon going to expand into the football world, but a couple more weeks
Excited.
before we get into that, and we'll bring someone new into the fold, and hopefully we'll have you there a few times, and we'll have some fun with some NFL talk too. But for now, Pete,
Absolutely. Let me tell you all about the rookie running backs that I'll draft, and they'll never turn out the way I expect them to.
isn't that always the case?
Like, I don't want to take anyone who's injury prone. Well, that's every NFL player, but this guy hasn't played in the NFL yet.
Right, right,
Maybe
yeah.
he won't get injured.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, one sport that Garrett and I are both admittedly not as knowledgeable in as you definitely are is the NBA. And our beloved Toronto Raptors seem to have made a pretty significant move. I don't think it's actually official yet, is it?
Um, I don't think it's allowed to be made official until the 6th of July, until like later this week or something like that.
Okay.
But they're in that negotiating window, so things are agreed to in principle. So at this point, it's as done a deal as it can be. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, Kawhi Leonard's coming back to the Raptors.
Right. So it sounds like the Raptors are sending a unprotected first round pick in 2031 and 33,
Yeah.
and they're swapping second round selections in 2030 and 2033 if I'm
No, so there, yeah, it is it's unprotected picks 2031 and 2033. So that's the big gamble for the Clippers, right? Is they're thinking, well, at some point, this crescendo up for the Raptors is going to have to go down again, and
sure.
we're going to try and get some unprotected picks then, and those are going to be assets that we could trade or we could um, be very valuable for us down the road. They're in for a long, long rebuild in LA. It's
Yeah,
two
no
second
kidding.
rounders. I don't think it's been announced what. Oh, the selections are 2030 and 2033, so those are kind of towards the back too. And then the pick swap is actually this coming year, which is kind of
Okay.
unlikely to. It's very unlikely that the Raptors will finish lower than the Clippers this year. So I don't. It's kind of like if this year falls flat, they're going to have a chance to exploit us for that. Um,
Got it.
but
Got it.
the Clippers have no semblance of a competitive team in a brutal Western Conference. So
And I feel like even all through those years where they were, trying to be Lakers 2.0, they really didn't get out of like the first or second round of the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, right? So,
no, they ran into Luca a couple times, and they had some good series. Kawhi tended to like step up and play well in the playoffs. He had a couple strong seasons in LA, including last season. He played 65 games, finished all NBA second team, like so top 10 player in the NBA last year. Um, uh, they had a couple nice runs with him, but Paul George was often hurt, so often like one of the two guys was hurt, and then they ended up bringing James Harden in there, and that didn't quite work out well enough. And like the West is just loaded, like with
mhm.
these, like what Oklahoma City and the San Antonio Spurs have done is through building through the draft is just made it. They built full complete teams with superstars, two-way teams that are young, athletic, healthy, and they'll just wear you down over time. So these superstar teams that are just trying to make a ton of money just have nothing else to build around their teams. So they end up falling short in the playoffs. So
Okay.
now
Okay.
they're
I
kind
mean, that
of
makes sense.
they've thrown in the towel. They're full rebuilding.
Okay. So in terms of the pieces that the actual players that the Clippers are getting from the Raptors, Ingram's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's on the books for 40 million next year, and he's
Oh,
got another
geez.
$40 million player option the following year after that. So it's
Okay.
essentially 2 years, 80 million left on his deal. Grady Dick is coming to the end of his rookie scale, so he's got I think $7 million this year. So those two combined is around 47, 48 million, which is close to Kawhi's 50. So it
I
matches the
see.
salaries because they're both way over the cap. Um, but Kawhi is also signing an extension with the Raptors. He only said he would sign an extension for the Raptors, but Kawhi is making 50 million this year. He's gonna make 60 million in 2027 and 60 million in 2028. So
Wow. Wow.
um the full contract is going to end up being, I think they said the extension is 124 million over 2 years, plus this 50, 174 million over 3 years for Kawhi. So this is the NBA's salary cap is just skyrocketing, and some of these veterans, it's the more veteran experience you have, the higher percentage of the cap you are able to be signed for and part of the NBA collective bargaining. So
Okay.
players like LeBron and Kawhi, they're maxed out at the peak of what they can make, and at this rate, max is like 60 million in the NBA.
Okay. So really it doesn't matter where they go, they're going to make that kind of money. So they really just kind of want to go wherever kind of thing. Wherever
Yeah,
they want to go, I should say. Yeah.
as long as there's a market, and there always is for these guys.
Mhm.
Kawhi was a top 10 player in the league last year. Like, who doesn't
Yeah.
want that guy? Won two championships, finals MVP, elite defender, elite shooter, an absolute robot. Um,
Yeah.
he's pretty incredible as a basketball player. So, and he can fit anywhere. Like, I don't know who doesn't need a 6'8", 250 pound rock solid piece of brick that drains threes and rebounds and steals and blocks and like
And,
he does everything.
and is probably the person that has brought the most memorable basketball moment to Toronto with
Yeah.
the last, what was that? The last second shot against Philly, was that in the semifinals? The year they won the
Yeah,
championship?
that would have been in the semifinals because they went on to play Milwaukee and then Golden State, and it was the
Okay.
game seven of the semis, and it was a
Okay.
loaded team. Like that was Ben Simmons in his prime, and I know Ben Simmons' story went downhill real quick, but they had JJ Redick, they had Jimmy Butler, who was a superstar, they had Joel Embiid, who was a
Oh,
superstar, Tobias
right.
Harris, like they were just loaded. And yeah, the Raptors took them down with amazing defense, which is kind of what they're building now. Like I don't know if you caught much of the playoffs, but the rookie they drafted last year, Murray Boyles, he's the best rookie defender in the league last year. Like he is going to be the best defender out of that class, almost certainly.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then Scotty Barnes finished fifth overall in Defensive Player of the Year voting this year. An absolute incredible defensive player. And then you're going to add Kawhi to that. And then the guy they drafted this year was kind of like the analytics defender darling of the draft, and supposed to be just another 6'8" disruptor, gets in passing lanes. And so they're building this identity around, we're going to stop you. Turn the we're going to turn the ball over. We're going to get all over the glass. We're going to win the possession battle, and we're going to run it down your throat in transition, which is exactly what they did under Nick Nurse when they won. Um,
Okay.
but every game slows down into a half court at some point, and you need guys who can make tough shots. And Ingram was horrible in the playoffs last year. He was injured, albeit, but he kind of brought back a lot of memories last year of DeMar DeRozan, just those like long fadeaway twos, dribbles out the whole clock. No one else is really involved. Everyone's ball watching. It just
Mhm.
doesn't work in the playoffs. Um, it's kind of the old LA basketball style, but everyone wants to be Kobe from LA, and nobody's Kobe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's it, right? So interesting. Okay. Well, I think him come now talking, specifically from a guy that doesn't watch a lot of basketball, admittedly, though I do enjoy playing basketball. It's fun to have a good run, but I'm interested again, so I haven't
Yeah,
like I know when they drafted Grady Dick, there was a little bit of hey, we got this high draft pick and there was hope for him, and I don't
and
think
it was a
that
flop.
yeah.
I liked the pick. I was really excited myself.
Hmm.
It didn't go, but yeah, he was 14th overall, so it wasn't like too high. But he had fallen. Like they expected him to be a top 10 pick that year, and he was just supposed to be this super slick 3-point shooter. And you had visions of Scotty Barnes backing up in the post with his amazing passing, and Grady Dick running around screens like Steph Curry and firing it with this like perfect, beautiful shot, and then he can't shoot. Like it's the shot still looks great, like it's but they just don't go in. Shot like 33% from three, and that's like his talent. Like he's a defensive liability, and his talent's supposed to be threes, and it just um, he fell in the depth chart for them. Jacoby Walter, who was their first round pick the year after,
Hmm.
they picked him 19th overall. He's brought some gritty, solid defense for them in the playoffs, and he was hitting threes. So he was kind of took over as that 3 and D shooting guard off the bench behind Barrett, and Grady Dick didn't have any minutes anymore anyway. So I think there was already kind of an understanding that Grady Dick was going to be traded this year.
I
There
see.
was reports that they had already discussed with him, and they had mutually agreed it's in both parties' interest just to move on and give him another chance somewhere else. So
Well, good luck to him then. And yeah, it's interesting. It'll definitely be from a casual's standpoint, Kawhi, you know, that that's gonna get me to pay a bit more attention. So
right. I
that's
mean, they don't need to persuade me to watch the games. I'd like to do
no
it
right.
anyways. It totally gets my juices going though, and like it'll certainly get my kids up off the couch to watch them with me to go back on a different couch
There you go.
with me. Um, but like their interest had faded over the past few years. I mean, rebuilding's slow. It kind of sucks, right? And
Yeah, for sure.
the Raptors took their sweet ass time getting going with the rebuild. They kind of tried to hold on a bit too long with Van Fleet and Siakam and
Yeah.
Anunoby, and slowly Powell slowly just started falling apart, and they started making some really silly trades, trading some first round picks when they weren't really good enough to be doing that, and they just delayed the whole process. So they're kind of taking a little bit of a leap. So they took a bit of a leap last year, and they're now investing in that and saying, all right, here's the thing: they still have all their own first round picks over the next 4 years, and their own
Okay.
second round picks over the next 4 years. The picks don't actually hit until 5 years from now.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, all right. That makes sense though. They can continue to maybe fill holes or specific needs
Build
with
through the
those draft.
draft, get some
Yeah.
cheaper rookie scales, still develop under a winning team. Like it's
Yeah.
always I think in any sport, it's better to develop in a winning culture.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure. Yeah.
it's harder to get that talent in the draft with lottery systems and the way um, they they're trying not to reward losing, but the way that it tends to work out is bad teams usually draft high, and your high players don't always get a chance to develop in good environments. So they'll have a great environment, but they're going to be probably picking pretty low for the next 4 years. Um, but they've done well there. So
Absolutely.
that's where they got OG and Siakam and Powell and DeLon Wright. Like all those guys, they were late first, early second type guys. So
There you go. Yeah. Well, one more NBA note here that I think we have to touch on while we have you here is LeBron. He's not going back to LA.
maybe he's going
Um,
to come back to maybe he's going to come to Toronto, and then
maybe
maybe they'll actually change the sign in
it's
Nathan's Phillips Square from Toronto to Lebronto. Um,
LeBronto. Um,
yeah,
I saw a post on Facebook today where the Argos were making a joke that they had signed LeBron,
he
and
would be their
then
best player probably. I bet you
yeah,
he could play running back
but
in the CFL
oh, I
at
would love to see
41.
it.
He probably wouldn't be the oldest guy out there.
Well, from a casual basketball fan standpoint, I thought LeBron was going to the Lakers to play out his career because he wanted to transition into a like an actor type career, and play in LA, go to the studios, film some
Yeah, Space Jam
TV.
2. That
Yeah,
was the start of it all.
right. And I
Yeah.
think the end of it all, right?
hmm
Um,
To my knowledge, he's probably been in a Subway commercial or something. But
but so to me, this seems weird. Um, I can't imagine he's going anywhere else than tour number three to Cleveland, right?
um, I think so. He's told the Lakers he's just not going to return there.
Mm.
Um, which if he wants to win, like I don't think they're in a great state to do it. They got Luca, but they're pretty thin, and
Which is weird for the Lakers, but yeah, I guess
yeah,
they even have to have a down period eventually.
and they just gave Austin Reeves like actually a max contract as a shooting guard, and he's good too. Like they have a couple good shooting guards um, uh, that are going to put points up, but they both kind of like the ball in their hands too. Like, and I don't know if LeBron wants to just play defense and cutting off ball and things like that for like Luke is the guy there now.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they've
that might not sit well with LeBron, right? Not being the guy.
and I wonder I like the first rumors that came out was like Golden State like can they facilitate something where they can get him in Golden State to play with Steph and Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. What I think the initial rumor was Butler was hopefully going to be traded for Anthony Davis, but um, the Wizards don't want to trade Anthony Davis, so that's just media speculation.
Sure.
But the one I wonder about is he, thing is they're way they're way like into they're like the highest payroll in the league, and the new cap system is so punitive for teams that are in that second apron. They've had to already let some good players go off of that team that they had, and they had to sign Harden back pretty heavy. But Cleveland would be a fun little story for him to play out the rest of his career, but they don't really have any money so to spend on him. So unless they've
Oh,
found
okay.
some way to do a sign and trade, or I don't know. Um, but and then maybe Miami back again with
Yeah,
Giannis and Bam Adebayo. Like he loves to create these triumvirates, determine who's going to be the next team that he can put his mark on. But
that would be interesting too. Hmm, interesting.
those would be my
Okay.
guesses. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it's an exciting time of year in terms of, well, both hockey, which is our bread and butter here, of course, and basketball, in terms of all the free agency and all that kind of stuff. So we'll keep our eye on this and see we might even talk about it if LeBron goes somewhere unexpected. Uh,
Interesting narrative too. Like he went there and he got the team to draft his son, right? And the
right.
dream was to play alongside his son. His son
Wow.
is so bad that now his dad wants out. Like
Yeah,
it's
really.
like um
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
some cold stuff.
that just didn't work out, right? Like he only played a handful of games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like they
Yeah.
kept him around, but he's just not very good.
Yeah. Well, hey, he got a shot at it, and yeah, that's it. If he can't perform, he can't perform. It doesn't matter what your last name is, does it?
No.
Not at that level. Um, you and Colin spoke briefly about this, but how much of the World Cup have you been watching?
Been able to take in the Dutch and Canadian games
Sure.
pretty much. Little like highlights and little snippets of different other games, but mostly it's just been sitting
Mhm.
down to watch the Dutch and the Canadians.
Okay, well, those are two of the three teams I want to talk about this week, so that's
Oh,
that's fantastic. First one we should mention right away, and part of the reason I want to bring up the Holland game is because what happened in this game as well was on the same night, in fact, we had Germany and Paraguay face off. They went through the whole extra time and to shootouts. And then later that night, same thing with Holland and Morocco. And in both cases, Germany definitely the favorite. Holland and Morocco are pretty even in
I
terms
think
of.
I think the rankings that I saw was Morocco was sixth in the world and
They're a little,
Netherlands were seventh on
yeah.
the world
So
rankings. Yeah.
yeah, so Morocco is technically by the FIFA rankings the favorite. Germany definitely a favorite to win the tournament even. And both games went into the shootout at the end. And I've said this before about the shootout in hockey. I've said it after the Germany game to my friends that are cheering for Germany, saying I think Germany kind of got ripped off.
Do you have any uh like German cheer in you in terms of your rooting interest or
No, not
um
really.
okay.
I respect the program because they've been, you know, always good basically.
Hmm.
And they are a fun country to watch because they are just so clinical.
Hmm.
Um, and I appreciate that style of
You
soccer.
sound like an English commentator here.
But yeah, I definitely thought that Germany got screwed. Actually, to be honest with you, I thought Morocco probably deserved to win, if I'm
I thought
being
so too.
taking off my uh, my Homerism cap there. And Morocco controlled the pace of play. They had more shots on goal. The only time they really let Holland kind of get any kind of a quality chance, Holland capitalized, got their only goal. But yeah,
They
either
had missed
way.
some real close chances, like crossbar crosses that like missed the guy by like a foot, and otherwise it'd been an easy tap in. Like these little, they were so close on multiple occasions to and what's the what's our goaltender's name in Holland? Was it Van something?
Yeah,
That's
I mean
always an easy guess, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. But
And
yeah,
Bugen or Buren or something
then
like that. Bart
it's there.
Verbruggen.
Thank you,
There we
thank
go.
you. But he basically kept that game as close as it ended up, right? So,
Right.
but either way, both games went to the penalties, and like I said, in hockey, in the World Cup, in whatever competition, especially in a playoff style elimination game. I hate that as a way to solve a soccer game, any game. With the NHL, I'd be just perfectly fine with a tie. I
They've
don't, but
they've
like,
never experimented with anything else, have they? Like you follow
yeah.
soccer more closely than I at like the club levels, and especially has any league proposed anything different at any
So
point?
so at one point, MLS, when it was like brand new, coming out of what was it, the 1994 World Cup? Because when the US got that World Cup, part of the mandate was to create a professional soccer league, right? So that MLS was a result of that World Cup. And one of the things they did was if a game was tied after regulation, you would go to just golden goal. So
Okay.
basically sudden
Yeah.
death overtime. The other thing they did, I believe they did this first, was instead of a like
Which,
traditional penalty shoot, what they did is they would it was almost more like an NHL penalty shot thing where they would be outside of the box. The player would be able to run into the box and then take a shot. So they would dribble the ball from outside
then
of the
they have to
box.
measure their dribble. The goalie can make a charge, back up, kind of try
That
to time it differently.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more uh it's more what a game would produce, I guess, for the goalie and the players.
Yeah.
There's very rare someone just gets a wide open shot in the middle of the box to score
Right. Right. Exactly.
without a million bodies in front of them.
Yeah. And without having movement on the ball first and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, right? So they tried that style of penalty shootout, and in the end, they just went to what the rest of the world does. But yeah, MLS did experiment with a couple different things.
I like
S-
the sudden death idea. I think that would improve it would decrease the chances of it going to a penalty shootout a little bit,
I think
probably only
so.
marginally. But I think it would be a step in the right direction. You'd have more games that were solved on the pitch instead of a set play
Hmm.
that really only happens in like extreme penalty situations, like
Yeah,
extreme
and
red cards and penalties in the box and handballs and stuff.
right. And I think, if you're going to go that way, I understand part of the concern is they don't want the games to go on for forever. Frankly, for me, I don't care because it's a World Cup. It happens once every 4 years, and it's an elimination game. One of those two teams is not going to have to play again. So, if you're worried about their fitness and all that
Does
kind of stuff,
anybody complain about the NHL when they go into like four overtimes or something and they're still playing at 2-3? Like I feel like it's
I
always
don't
for
think
for the
so.
fans, it's always a story, right? It's a water
Yeah,
cooler moment. Like, did you see how long it was going? How
yeah,
long did you
absolutely.
make it? And I guess if you're broadcasting the game or you're part of media and if you're planning your television rights and stuff like that, maybe it's a little more complicated. But
Sure. Sure, absolutely. From a broadcaster standpoint, it would be difficult, but also like again, I think that whatever's coming next on their schedule, whether it's just a highlight show or darts or whatever's coming up next,
mm,
they can just push it off. Like it's not
mm,
significant enough anyways,
yeah,
right? So I don't know. To me, it's like instead of doing the extra time and then the penalty, or even the extra time and then switching to a golden goal, just go straight to golden goal, so that you're not
yeah.
worried about that extra time where multiple goals potentially could happen. And um, yeah, I don't know. It seems like a relatively simple fix to me. I understand that soccer is very hesitant towards change, kind of like baseball. Um, but both sports have seen a lot of change over the last, I don't know, let's say
But it,
five
it, it and
years.
it just kind of looks goofy. Like you watch the Netherlands shootout and the Moroccan goaltenders like trying to fake and stuff, and then
Mm.
the Dutch players are trying to do the really quick steps and then slow and stutter step and try to like fake them out. Like that's not is that soccer? Like
I don't think
it
so.
like literally the Moroccan guy's like
Yeah, yeah, I know.
before, and I was like,
It,
this just looks. This doesn't look right.
no, it
This
doesn't
doesn't
look
look
like.
like what I came to watch.
I think it's more akin to, one of those car dealerships with the guys out front that have the arms waving like this. So, yeah, I would love to see that go away. Skills competitions are not true reflections of the game and how
Mhm.
it plays out. So that's my 2 cents there. But Canada, Canada has outlasted
Round of
Germany, the Netherlands. Like,
round of 16.
yeah. I mean, we got a very lucky draw. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna I'm not gonna deny that at all. South Africa is probably, well, definitely the worst team in the round of 32, but like they got pretty lucky
They
to
won their
get in.
group.
It
They
was
won their group,
I
right?
would say they didn't lose their group is a better no, but actually they got in second in the group because it was the second of their group and the second place in our group that faced off against each other.
Who got first? Was it Bosnia?
In their group,
In our
or
group.
oh, in our group it was Switzerland.
Okay.
In their group, I believe, you know what? I'm just going to look it up so I don't say the wrong thing. But I
I
think it
think it
was,
was South Africa, Brazil, or Brazil won South Africa two. Was it? Or
oh, you know what it was? It was Mexico.
Mexico won South Africa two.
Yeah, and it was because Czechia and so South Africa beat South Korea and they tied Czechia. So like they basically well, they definitely were performing way above expectations. Um, I think South Korea was considered a favorite to win the group, and you know Mexico obviously didn't waste their home field advantage, which was good for them.
Mexico looks great.
Yeah, yeah, and they advanced to the round of 16 is well. Um, and
USA, are they there yet, or
they're playing right
who's
now.
are they playing right
It's
now?
yeah, right now 1-0 USA over Bosnia at halftime.
Might all three hosts make the round of 16? That would be something.
It seems like it. Of course, you would say that's the first time that ever happened, but that's the first time there's ever been three hosts. So,
Put it in the history books.
yeah. So, but that's it. The history book continues to be written for Canada, and
So what
it,
are you noticing on the Canadian side that you've been impressed with or that you're concerned about? Is there
so
um
last week, Garrett and I were not positive about how things were going, but we thought they were going to be playing Mexico. So, luckily, that didn't end up happening. Um, it felt like their performance against Switzerland, although Switzerland was a higher ranked team, left something to be desired. But coming into this game, there's way more hope, definitely knowing that they're playing South Africa versus Mexico. They got the job done. Granted, it was very late. It was an extra time at the end of the game. What I feel like I noticed from that game was once Alfonso Davies got on the field, it was just a completely different game.
hmm,
Um, I feel like not just his influence in terms of what he did on the field, but I feel like the team had more confidence the second he stepped on the field.
like
And
watching him individually, like I didn't look and see anything that stunned me about what he did. Like there's moments with him you get those like wow, like that is a athletic move. Like there's very few players in the world that can do something like that and
oh, absolutely.
uh, change pace so early. And uh, I didn't really notice anything like that from him, but I did notice like there was a certain gravity around him. Like when he got the ball on that left side, like they had put him up midfield and left, I guess left midfield or the left wing and the left back, kind of they had moved him around. And
Yeah, it's
anytime it was on that left end, just there was a little bit more attention from Morocco. In those, not Morocco, from
not
South
yet, not
Africa
yet. No, yeah, from South
in those
Africa.
games,
Yeah.
and it gave a little bit more space for guys like Eustachio, I thought, in the midfield to be able to kind of find some seams and make some plays.
Absolutely. They were drawing players to him for double coverage and that and opened up the field and gave some of those guys more of a shot. Um, and yeah, Estacchio. I will never ever pronounce his name incorrectly again after that goal. I I am not ashamed to admit it went in. I yelled very loudly a celebration yell. And the second the game was over, goosebumps, a tear running out of the corner of my eye. I never thought I'd see something I like this, right? I didn't. I
Did you get to watch with
remember
anyone?
just at home with the kids, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, um,
Did the girls get into it?
yeah, a little bit. Like they can tell that I'm into it, but they're still too young to really care about it, right? So,
God, why are you
um,
wearing so much orange all of a sudden?
but yeah, it was a very special moment. I remember a time where Garrett and I were going to BMO Field before the expansion in seating. Canada, led by like Dwayne De Rosario and not much else, were playing, St. Kitts and Nevis, a country that a tiny, small island country that you know, they don't have a professional league, so these guys are actually not professional players playing for their country, or
Hmm.
at least not most of them. And still, Canada had a hard time winning these games. So these were rounds of qualifying before the actual World Cup qualifying round, and they weren't getting there.
Mhm.
And to be in a place where we have seen Canada actually legitimately qualify for a World Cup in Qatar last time around. Obviously, they got the bye this time because they're a host country, but to see them win an elimination game, it's special. Now, do I have a lot of hope for Saturday? Probably more than I should. Morocco's a good team. They've already eliminated a team that I have a lot of love and rooting interest in. But I think it's safe to say this World Cup has been a success regardless of what happens Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you know this, Pete, but we actually do talk about hockey here. I know it's been a lot of World Cup talk lately, but it's been exciting to follow along. But since last week, there have been 35 trades, an entry draft, and 130 contract signings in the NHL since Garrett and I last spoke last week. There's obviously not enough time to go through every single one of those. We will be here all night, and I have no interest to bore you with every single one of those, but there's been
How
some pretty significant moves.
how big is a roster? You usually have what, seven or so D, 12 forwards, three goalies, a
Yeah,
couple extra
perhaps.
bench spots type of thing.
Yeah, so the NHL teams are limited to a maximum of 23 active players.
So
So,
what? So there's 32 teams.
yes, sir.
So 300.
You're doing some math right there, right?
Yeah, a
That's
little bit. 32 teams times 23 roster spots. You're looking at what,
736.
736, and we've
And
had
I'm not even going to pretend that I knew that. I definitely used the calculator.
so we're looking at roughly what, 15% of the league been turned over, or at least been
Yeah,
signing new contracts.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, eh? It's definitely a an off season of change. Even for teams like just a quick note, Buffalo is one we always like to talk about. Buffalo's done a lot for a team that finally got back in the playoffs. You think they'd almost be too scared to do something too significant, but they've made a lot of moves and
I liked them trading Biram for the fourth overall pick. I thought that was a pretty astute move, especially when Biram ended up signing for like 12 million a year.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I thought that was interesting. It definitely is a shot that Chicago needs to be taking, right? They need to start making good on Connor Bedard. And for Buffalo, they have a lot of defense and they could afford to let someone go and to get such a high pick. Yeah,
is Biram better than Owen Power or Rasmus Dahlin?
well, yeah, I don't think so, but
So what are your third best defenseman wants 12 million a year? Yeah, I'll take the fourth overall pick instead and grab one of the new defensemen to
yeah,
groom up on the cheaper.
yeah, exactly, right?
I think
So.
that's the smarter. It's the smarter play long term. Chicago's got its own situation. They have to be aggressive. So you're right.
Absolutely. It's rare that this kind of works out for both teams, but it seems like this is one of those ones
I
that
thought they
might.
paid a lot in the contract and uh,
They have the
uh,
room.
draft result for Biram, but in the rising cap, maybe that number doesn't look so crazy in a couple of years.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's go through a few trades here. JJ Peterka, I think is how you say his last name there, went
Yeah,
to the Bruins. Utah sent a the first, sorry, they sent the player. They got the 23rd pick in the draft. Of course, they used that. And they also got Florida's 2028 first round pick. So Boston previously got that from Florida and now it's moved on to Utah. So
Marchand deal maybe, or maybe
yeah,
that's a pick that
probably.
came over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
I'm,
Paterka's a nice second line winger, right?
yeah.
He's pretty young. Um,
Boston seems to not ever be too far away from playoffs, if not in the playoffs. And it feels like this is them continue or trying to continue that, right?
Remember a couple of years ago, Paterka was supposed to be a big jolt for Buffalo, and it didn't quite work. And then they traded him to Utah, and he's been moving around a bunch. And
Hmm.
I guess people like his talent; it just hasn't come together.
Yeah, maybe
Boston
so.
has a way of unlocking some of those things, though, with
That
people. So
they sure do. So good luck to him there. let's keep rolling along here. The next is the
There's a big
Rangers.
one.
Yeah. So that would be the Rangers got received a Pavel Dorofeev, if I'm saying that correctly.
Orofeev,
I have a hard time with those names, but Vegas is getting they got the 26th overall draft pick. They got a third round draft pick, and in is that next year? Wow, that's hard to read that font.
2028.
2028 first round draft pick. Yeah, I guess at some point Vegas has to trade someone away and recoup some picks after all the picks they've spent over the years to build their championship caliber teams. And that's a nice one for the Rangers.
I think it's interesting to see how the teams up against the cap have been acting this summer, or because there's been a lot of movement, but
Mhm.
Vegas is one of those teams that they can't really spend much. So it's
They really can't. No, no, and that's
Tampa couldn't really spend to keep Radish, like based on what his value was.
right.
Um, some of those teams invested a lot earlier, like Florida wanted to make a play on Werenski or something like that. I read, and now that sounds like Werenski's staying, but like who are they going to trade? Everyone they have like their core, like six or seven, all locked in with no trade clauses and like no young assets, no
Yeah,
picks or good prospects or anything.
really. Yeah. Another one of those team. Well, let's look at Florida quickly here. Hold on.
Is Dorofeyev their Panarin replacement in New York? You think different players, but
Probably,
kind of
probably.
just that marketable winger
Hmm.
that's going to be a highlight offensively for them. I still don't
I'm sure
love New
that
York, but
I don't really understand what they're doing, to be honest with
me
you.
neither.
But anyways, I do understand what the Panthers are doing. They are going for Markstrom. Wow, big trade, big trade. So Evan Rodriguez, Jasper Volkvist, and Ben Steves go all to the Devils. Jacob Markstrom and Angus Cruikshank are going to Florida. So um, that I
I mean,
mean
Rodriguez
that's
was kind of a bottom six guy, right? I
mhm.
think his name floated in Toronto a long time ago. Didn't it? Many years
It's
ago.
it's very possible.
I
I
think
don't
he's just
recall,
been
but
moving from one team to the other. I think he was in Pittsburgh for a while, and Jester Bachfist. I think he's another bottom six guy, right?
absolutely, yeah.
I don't know Ben Steves. I don't think it's related to Alex Steves.
I don't know. I've never heard of him before today, to be
Angus
honest with you. So
Crookshank. I sounds like
I
a pirate D&D villain. Um,
so say sounds like when you play
arr.
the EA's NHL game and you get like deep into career mode and it just starts coming up with crazy names for all the players in the draft. That's Angus Crookshank right there. But this is a huge trade for Florida in terms of kind of re-upping, I would say, their goaltending. Markstrom did not have a great year last year with the Devils.
Do you think they didn't want Bobrovsky back, or do you think like
I just think
does
that,
Markstrom make that much less than Bobrovsky signed for? Bobrovsky, what, 7 million? What does Markstrom make?
well, we'll find out one second, but I think more so than that, um, he's younger, right? And
Yeah,
they've got a team that's locked in for years.
that's true.
Yeah. So he's under a 2-year, $12 million contract.
A little
So
less.
six a year. Yeah, that's a lot
Hmm.
less. Yeah. But um he's got he's got 1 year left on it. So they're going to be in the same spot next year needing to sign their goalie. So um but I guess they can wait and see where the cap goes and address at that time. Either way, they've got a goalie here, I think, that is like I definitely think I don't think he's a downgrade. I think he played on a team that wasn't as good, but 2 years ago he was pretty darn good.
He's
This year
had some
was a
nice years for
letdown.
sure. He had some. Musketeers in Calgary too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, I think it's an upgrade for the Panthers. Not that they need any more upgrades, but
you
uh,
saw they got Radko Gudas,
I believe that was right over here. Yep.
and they ended up signing him to like 1.5 million for like 6 years until he's like 43 or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
Gudas signed 6 years, 1.5
1.5
a average value. So he's not even gonna play like the last 3 years probably.
probably.
Um,
Yeah,
they're a
that's
greasy team.
yeah, yeah. That's just nuts. So we can cross that one off, one of the signings there. But going back to some trades here, the Ducks traded out Mason McTavish to the St. Louis
Old
Blues.
Hamilton Bulldog boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So they got number 15 and number 29 picks in the NHL draft that passed this past Friday. So a couple, yeah, I mean that's two first round picks and on a team that already has a lot of young talent and is certainly on the rise. I mean, they made the playoffs this year. Um, it's been fun to see the Ducks go back to, the old logo and kind of come back up on the rise. I've enjoyed this, so hopefully this continues along. Hopefully this helps with their
Yeah,
pick.
it's always interesting. Like I don't know when they started the rebuild, McTavish was a big part of that, right? Like he
Yeah.
was what like fourth or fifth overall. Like he was a high pick and was going to be a top forward in the future. And then it just all became about Carlson and Seneca and Gauthier up front, and maybe McTavish wanted a different chance to be a number one center again. I'm not sure, but like number two center,
Mhm.
like he would be great on just about any team for as a number two center. I feel he's still real young,
Oh yeah.
um, but they're recycling some of the guys they were building around. Might make sense. I think one of their defensemen was Oleg Zellweger or something like that. They traded out too, and but they're
Yeah, they've done a
um,
lot of moving pieces around so far this
hard to
offseason
argue
too.
with what Pat Verbeek has done there. So
Yeah.
I thought he's done a pretty excellent job.
Well, you can't argue with it. They've been out of the playoffs for how many years and they're back now. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's working.
yeah. It looks pretty sustainable too. They'll just have to deal with the Sharks over the next decade.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Speaking of,
Yeah, exactly. Darnell Nurse is done in the Alberta capital, as this article says. So Edmonton
another
traded.
Hamilton boy,
Yeah, absolutely. So he went to San Jose. Your guess is as good as mine to say this gentleman's name, Shakir.
Shakir Makumamadulin. No,
Sure. And
Mukhamadulin, something like that.
that guy,
Yeah,
and Zach Sharp are heading to Edmonton. So um, I know Nurse wanted out, so I'm not exactly
happy for
shocked.
him.
Yeah.
I I'd take him on the Leafs. Like his
Yeah.
contract doesn't even look that bad compared to what some guys are getting signed now. I mean, he's not a top line guy. He's a bottom four D,
Hmm.
but he's heavy. He'll protect his players. He'll play the heavy game.
Hmm.
You just can't expect much finesse or puck moving from him. You need the right fit, I think.
Absolutely. And for for San Jose's side of things, this feels pretty low risk to me because I don't know
Oh
who
yeah,
either of these guys are, first of all. And second of all, they are just loading up every which way. They're
they
signing
just
people, they're
they just
getting high
absorb the
draft
money, right?
picks.
For Edmonton was always the money for Nurse, right? That's another team that they've always pushed the limits on the cap, and
Mhm.
they can't really do a whole lot. And it's like, okay, great, McDavid signed for less, and you still can't do a whole lot with it.
Yeah, yeah, no
But
kidding.
I think
Uh,
they got Freddie Anderson later or a bit later today. Um,
big move there.
yeah, I think he's the goalie to
Oh,
compete with whoever they traded for last year. don't even remember. One of their recycled goalies that they had picked up.
Yes. Anyways, I don't know what the Oilers are thinking with that one. He, it is a 1 year deal, so I guess it's low risk. 2.8 million though. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Had to go cheap.
I
They,
He's how old is this guy now? He's 36 years old. Okay, he's still younger than I think he is in my mind. This keeps coming up with me and Garrett. I think he's like 42 or something like that in my head, but he's been around
Freddie
the block.
Anderson?
Yeah, he's definitely been around the block.
Yeah.
Um,
It was Anaheim before Toronto and then a long time in Carolina.
Anaheim, Toronto, Carolina, you're right. Yeah. So, hey, you know what? If that helps push who was it? It was Jerry that the Oilers got this year from the Penguins.
Well, that's it. I'm just looking at their cap sheet right now. Tristan Jerry, 5 million, 5.375 million for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good.
No, not really. So,
They paid Jake Wallman 7 million a year for the next 6 years. That
jeez.
feels like way too much money.
Yeah, no kidding. What? That's rough.
Where's all their? They're still paying Jack Campbell.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Evan Bouchard, I guess, got the bag recently.
Yes, yeah. So,
Feels like they shouldn't be
I
that capped out, but guess so.
guess they have to pay to get people to come to Edmonton,
Yeah,
even with McDavid there. Anyways,
yeah.
another Utah move. The
Oh, did they
Miami.
get Anders Lee? I like
Yes,
Anders Lee.
yeah, absolutely. So we're moving into more of the signings here now. But yeah, the U Utah signed
Good
Anders Lee
solid
for.
veteran. Stick his butt in front of the goalie on the power play.
Yeah, they have a lot of young talent, so a player like him is good to have.
Mhm.
3 year, what was that? So 16.2 million. So that's
Oh, and they traded for
5.4.
Trocheck too.
They did. Yeah.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah,
Sean
exactly.
Dursey, Cole Baudouin, and a 2027 third round pick. Cole Baudouin, was he on the World Junior team for Canada? Recognize that name.
Yeah, I recognize that name too, but we'll check that quickly. In the meanwhile, it
Sorry, I'm just
feels.
adding work for you.
No, it's all good. Yeah, he was. He was on 26, 24, 25, and 26. He played for Canada. 24 was the U18, but 25 and 26 it
Mm,
was the World Junior team. So, yeah, coming out of the Colts out of Barrie. Yeah.
Mammoth are pushing
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they've got a lot of young talent, so it's time to start cashing some of that in for
for
some
sure.
more experienced. So yeah, that's two pretty solid names that the Mammoth have added on there, and you got to think they're going to take a jump next year for sure.
Mhm.
Chicago, we're talking about Chicago. Of course, we talked about uh, Byron earlier. So Bowen Byron, 6 years, $75 million, 12.5 million cap hit. And then they added Cole Smith on a 3 year, $9 million cap. And then veteran
Ian
defenseman Ian
Cole,
Cole for 4.5. So
nothing really exciting.
nothing exciting, some experienced bodies, but yeah, uh, they need to start trying,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
like we talked about before, Devils, Ni- mm-mm-mm.
Nico Hischier,
Nico Hischier, there it is. 50,
11.7 million a year.
50, 58.5 over 5 years. That's a
11.7 a year.
Yeah.
He's good defensively too, right? Like,
Hmm.
thing is, he doesn't put up the points of most first line centers, but he's a real good two-way center, and he's a good complement for Jack Hughes, I think. But
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Feels like a lot of money, but it could be a good fit.
Yeah, he's what, 27 years old though? You're still
Yeah,
projecting all those 5 years to be prime years of his, right? Like
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
he was the number one overall pick. He's played well.
Hmm.
He just didn't doesn't he's not the sexiest scoring player.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
he's the fundamental like Babcock two-way guy, 200-foot player type of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, let's keep going through, but I do want to get your thoughts on Babcock in a bit. But let's keep going through these. Dan
Oh
Vladder,
Lord.
8 year, $56.8 million.
Well, that's Forster.
So sorry, that's Forrester that signed the extension. My
Dan
apologies,
Vladar,
Vladdy.
5 year, 27.5.
Okay, that feels a little less shocking now. Okay. Um, okay. They need a goalie. That's fine.
He played
Uh,
well for them last year.
yeah,
Like you give him credit. He's it's not a crazy number, 5.5. Like
no,
that's a good point 0.5 goalie position, right? Like you're 1A. You
yeah.
still probably want a 1B.
And they also added Noel Asari. Okay.
Sorry.
Two
Yeah.
2.8 per year for 2 years. So okay. Sharks again, they don't stop. San Jose added Mason
Warm
Marchment,
relief.
yeah, and Jacob Trouba. That's an interesting one there, but 5 year 33.75 for Marchment, and Trouba is 4 years at an average of 8.25. So
Aren't you glad we traded Mason Marchment for Dennis Malgin?
well,
Six
I
foot four winger that
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I think San Jose's gonna enjoy him. Let's just put it that way.
I think he's going to
Uh,
enjoy sitting in front of the net while uh, Macklin Celebrini is firing it at the goalie, and he's just trying to
yeah,
be
just
disruptive and get a stick on it, get around rebounds, play the Zach Hyman type role.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They also added goalie Eric Comrie. I mean, that's clearly
Hmm.
just say we need a
Yep.
backup goalie at 1.15 a year for 2 years. That's
Hmm.
pretty low
And
risk.
Trouba's a decent veteran for them too.
Sure.
They need a blue line, so
Hmm. Tyson Forrester extended
we
56.8
just
over
saw
8 years.
that on the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
article. Yeah,
yeah.
feels like a lot of money for him, but I can't say I know him that well.
Right. Um, Rasmus Anderson, 7 year, 59.5 million, 8.5 per year.
Around the same number
Mm.
Darren Radish got, eh?
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't feel too bad. But I guess that's why part of the reason Vegas had to get rid of some players there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, you know. It was a good ad from
Mhm.
Calgary, and he's sticking around.
He's a good number two, I would say. I don't think he's a number one. He's a good number two.
We already saw this, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why this came up again. Sorry for the duplicate there. Boone Jenner, 4 year, $23 million contract with the Capitals, 5.75 million per year.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
need some more depth down the middle. They gotten Kyrou
they,
earlier in the offseason, and
yeah,
who was the other big winger that
Touche,
they got?
Touche for
Oh, Alex
Buffalo.
Tuck. Yeah, Touche. Is it Touche or
Touche,
Tuck?
Tuck. We had this debate last week too. I'm not
Tuck.
100% sure. I've been calling him Touche all this time, but I could be wrong. You know me and my pronouncing names incorrectly.
And then they got
So,
Dubois down the middle. I guess Boone Jenner will kind of help support Dubois down the middle. They're
so,
heaviest on the wings, though. Like that's where their investments are.
mhm. So is this we are spending what we can to convince Obi to come back for one kick at the can, or we're loading up because we don't think Obi's coming back?
Either or.
Yeah,
I think
I guess it's fairly safe to say that,
if they
isn't it?
want him back, I think it's Ovechkin's decision.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Regardless, I
Yeah,
think
I just wonder if he wants to, like
it'll be fun. if he went ahead and decided, hey, why don't I sign with Pittsburgh and play with Crosby and Malkin as my swan song? Or would that ruin it all? Would it ruin the history?
I like it. I like it, to be honest with you. But I like a little bit of chaos. So um that would be interesting.
That's a
Um
very marketable team. Like,
oh
let's
yeah.
uh let's play like let's play for some old guy pride. Carlson, Letang there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then like five people retire. Uh
Okay, Pittsburgh will have the Ruck brothers to
yeah, yeah,
start the new
right.
era.
Right. Lightning, Ilya Mikheyev, 4 year, 3.5 average.
Pretty
And
good deal for him, I feel.
yeah, yeah, it's not a big commitment in terms of dollars. And
No.
then Jeffrey Vale, 5 year, 12.5. So that's only 2.5 million. So not a big commitment there either. So
And
couple,
Dennis Hildeby they got
that's right, they did. Yeah,
for Nick Paul. We will get
that's
to that
right.
later.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, Edmonton, we saw that.
The Anderson part we
Yeah,
talked about a bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Yeah, and we talked about Anders Lee. So yeah, so that's like the major ones, I think. A fun one I like to keep track of is Luke Shen signed for a year with the Canucks. He's not going away yet. I've always liked Luke Shen. So
It's hard to root against him, right? Like he's
yeah,
never did anything bad. What was the worst thing he did? Not live up to his draft status. But
yeah.
he came back, he fights, he was a defensive defenseman.
Mhm.
Didn't quite work. They got James Van Riemsdyk for him, and he gave him a couple good seasons. So
Mhm. So I guess let's start with Babcock. I want to know your opinion on that because I think I've been back and forth on it, to be honest with you.
I don't think
Like,
the league should stand in the Oilers' way if that's what they want to do. I just can't imagine why the Oilers want to do it. It doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. Um, I the latest conversation Garrett and I had about it was like, if I'm running an NHL team, his let's say alleged um, actions on how he motivated his players. I just don't want a guy like that. I'm not here to
Me neither.
cancel him or whatever. I don't, if he wants to work and if a team wants to sign him, he should be able to work. But, like he didn't do anything criminal, but honestly, he just feels like a jerk and I don't want him around if I'm
Oh, I
running a
agree.
team. Yeah.
I don't know, like if I can tie in just a conversation about coaches in general and like I don't know Hiller who's going to coach the Leafs for the life of me. Like I haven't exactly followed LA the past few years, but
Sure.
I just like that they did a search. Like, I don't know, I've worked in management and what do you do when there's a position? You determine what do I need for that position? What are the values and qualities I want? You don't do external pressure just to find the big name, the guy who's won before. Like, to me, those are shortcuts that often don't work out. Like, do
Mhm.
a search, stick to it, follow the process, and whoever finishes the process, pick them. Like to me, it's that simple. Like I I hate how the moment someone gets fired or leaves, everyone's always right away going, "Who's the big name that's on the market?" and stuff like that. And
Right.
like people change. People are always changing. Like we're not the same people that we were
That's true.
5 years ago, 10 years ago. Um, the league is constantly in shift. It's constantly changing. It's very rare for coaches to have these long-term sustained successes. Like you can think of Scotty Bowman, and I guess John Cooper's the current example of it. But those
Yeah.
guys are it's so rare. It is a constant cycle. So like due diligence.
Hmm.
Have it from your GM, make sure you're on the same page, make sure it's someone with a shared philosophy who knows what they want to do. You believe in how the team should be coached, a certain philosophy behind coaching. You give them the power and you say, good, go do the job, right? You figure out the contract. Like, I think we overthink it way too much,
Yeah,
except for when things get toxic, which is why even bother bringing Babcock in?
I mean,
Go
by
to the
all,
college ranks, find like Michigan or North Dakota's coach or something like that. You know what I mean? Like try
well,
something new. Like,
that's what I thought the Leafs should have done, to be honest with you.
yeah, I would have been excited about that too.
Apparently, the what is it, Denver University coach turned down
Mm,
the Leafs, so
mm.
maybe they were just getting turned down. I don't know. And to be honest with you, because we're going to talk about the Leafs, so this is a perfect segue into that. To be honest with you, I I just feel like that hire was uninspired, and I am of the opinion, based on no facts, just on my own surmisal, I guess is the word, that he was probably just the one that said yes.
I find it hard to believe that other coaches, candidates who would be qualified wouldn't want the job, to be honest.
Okay,
Like,
prior to, and we'll get into what you think about today.
mhm.
But as early as last week when Garrett and I were talking, I felt like this is just a dumpster fire going on in Toronto, regardless of getting the first overall pick. Hey,
My buddy, love you too. A
nice.
visitor, Nathan, said hi
Yeah,
to our listeners.
there you go. That's our for the listeners, that's our rookie in waiting. When his draft year comes up, his podcast is going to be the biggest thing. Uh,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I think it was a I think the hiring of, again, names, but Shakea is uninspired and just looking for again, he didn't do anything criminal, but what he did in Phoenix, I wouldn't go after a guy that was known for trying to break the rules to get a competitive advantage. Um, I felt like getting Matt Sundin to come here after, he retired and disappeared to Sweden to never be seen again, which absolutely is prerogative, but um th this is what dragged him out. No, they're just paying him a bunch of money to be like, "Hey guys, one of the best players of our franchise's history is back. Like, you love us for this." And
I think they needed a proud face who could relate with the fans because I don't think Cheka can.
no,
I think
I don't.
Cheka's just the analytics guy. He's just going to come in, he'll run the numbers, he'll make the decisions, he'll do the job. I think Matt Sundin is to help um, put a relatable sidekick beside him who the fans can connect with and the media can connect with a bit better.
And when slash if this all blows up and doesn't go well, Matt Sundin is going to be talked about poorly as, oh, he was involved in all this. And why does he want any of that? Yeah, it could go the other way. I understand. I understand that's one of the answers. Right.
And it's
I
money,
understand.
he'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
money out of it, and he'll get to. I don't know. Does is this something he's wanted to do for a while?
I can't imagine that. I mean, not that I have a
He hasn't
personal
really
connection
been,
with him or
yeah,
anything, but
he hasn't really been
money is, I
working
doubt.
his way up, so to speak, right? He's just kind of.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know how involved he is with Swedish hockey or anything like that, but
he was always the guy that when I retire, I'm done and I'm disappearing back home kind of thing. And more power to him. And I'm sure money is not a problem for him, though you who's ever going to say no to more money? I get that, but
Mhm.
um I don't know. It's just the whole thing, at least as most recently as even yesterday at softball with talking with some friends, the whole thing felt very like, oh, this is just going to blow up in their face, and I'm along for the ride to watch it blow up.
I don't know. I'm an optimist by nature, so I tend to see renewal as a sign of hope. So I'm hopeful now. I
Hmm.
don't actually know. Like I, my feel
No,
is I feel like he's doing a good job so far. Like he's got to make some decisions. I like that he's trying to continually to recoup picks too, like with his moves. And
I have
um,
to admit I've been impressed by how many picks this guy has gotten in the last couple weeks. Absolutely. I have to admit that. I don't want to admit it, but if I'm
he's
being
not leaving
fair,
the cupboards bare. Like
yeah.
Treliving was a disaster, and this is another. Like they just went after the big name that everyone wanted, and he was chased out of Calgary. It was so bad. Like, and we're
Yeah.
like, come here and ruin our franchise too, and let's give Max Domi 5-year contract, and let. Uh, I mean, Tyler Bertuzzi, I guess, was an okay signing at the start, and there was even a little optimism then, but the moment he didn't have assets anymore, or he was down to his last ones, he's like, "All right, Brandon Carlo's the answer." Like,
Yeah, really.
no,
No,
yeah,
he's not. Yeah. Um, so I guess that leads us into the most recent, I guess, 24-ish hours. They've added a number. Well, I guess let's go back as far as the draft on Friday, right? First overall
they've
pick,
added a new third and fourth line and a couple new defensemen on their blue line,
and
and McKenna on the first line
yeah,
or second, depending where they put him.
they've really it really feels like they've left Matthews and Nylander there and basically have flushed everything else out and have given a whole new team as opposed to what had happened for all those years where the third and fourth line players were pick this guy out, put this guy
Yeah,
in.
and is this going to actually be any better? Like, are we going to look back mid-season and think, my goodness, Colton Sissons and Jack Roslovich and Teddy Bluger and Nick Paul and Duhane and like they're so much better than Yarncroke and Lawton and Nick Waugh and Nick Robertson and Matthias Michelli, or is it just going to be like cycling the deck chairs again?
But I will say
I don't know.
this, at least
It's
he's
different and it's all
cycled
different.
a lot of deck
Yeah.
chairs. And at least he's trying. I will
Yeah.
absolutely give him this. I don't really know how I feel about Bobrovsky. Um, but
He's old.
yeah, he's old.
I
But
know we have a history with like the Cujos and Belfours, like some old goalies, but
sure,
he's
sure.
old.
Um, it's only a couple years though. What, 3-year, $21 million contract. So it's not, seven is not upper level in terms of goalie contracts, but it's not a little contract either. But um,
And it sounds like they
I don't
really like
know,
this goaltender on the Marlies who's led them into the, is it the Memorial Cup?
the Calder Cup. Yeah,
Calder
yeah,
Cup.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, but that gives them the opportunity to give him a shot to come up and play, and if it doesn't go great, you can send him back down and find his footing again and all that kind of stuff. So I'll give it a positive in that sense, but
they traded from their depth of goaltending with Wool and Hildeby to get um, young assets and picks in, right? Like
mhm,
Emil Andre and a couple picks, and then what was the Hildeby was Nick Paul, right? I
yeah,
think they added a couple picks with Hildeby to make the Nick Paul, but they really needed a solid third line center, and Nick Paul's going to come in and he's going to be a 6'4", great, very good two-way player. He had a bit of a down year last year with Tampa, but um, he's he's certainly been buoyed by a great system there, and I just hope he can continue that with the Leafs, and it wasn't just something manufactured by Tampa. Similar with Darren Radish, it's like I
that's the
hope it
thing. Yeah,
translate right.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the Tampa has a way of really, really finding the best out of some of these guys, and then some, they leave and they're not always as good. Whether it's Yanni Gord or Steven Stamkos, or I
Oh
mean
yeah,
Stamkos was great in his prime, but like they make decisions when to move off people too.
they sure do.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so we'll
And
we'll we'll see. I just don't think they could afford to keep Radish. I
Oh
think they
yeah,
liked
yeah,
him.
absolutely. Yeah. No, no, absolutely. They just didn't have the space for it. And you can see by the moves that they've made, um, they haven't signed anyone significant. It's all depth type players as well. So that I think that speaks to your point there. And we may just be the beneficiary of them not having enough cap space there as the Leafs.
It's the
Uh,
one thing that happened when Marner left. There wasn't really free agents to fill that void when they got all that cap space. They made a couple
yeah.
trades for Machelli and I think they signed. I don't remember who they signed. Oh, yeah, last year I guess they got Nick Waugh back from Colorado, and that was one of the contracts they got back. But they didn't really fill the
Yeah.
they didn't really fill in that cap space, and the cap finally went up a significant amount. So they had a big chunk of space. So
Yeah.
thankfully, none of
Well,
these are long contracts. I think a lot of them are like 2 years. So
they seem to be all 2, 3 year relatively low ABV type scenarios. So yeah, if it doesn't go the way they hope it goes, it's probably players to trade for third plus round picks at the deadline and try again.
well, and what do they got? Probably two kicks at the can with Matthews, if unless they prove that him like convince him to stay. Like to convince him to stay, they got to be competitive. So, and
Yeah.
they're not going to have their next two first round picks. So like, there's no tanking
No, they're
at this
definitely
point.
not.
They can't
Yeah.
do that. So, um, it's a couple kicks at the can, and if they can't get it done, then they got to eventually make a decision on Matthews and Nylander, and then it can become the Gavin McKenna rebuild, right? But um,
That would be something, eh? Like year three is when the rebuild starts for him. But
yeah, but
they've
it's
avoided rebuilding now, so yeah.
it's hard to think that it could have gone any better for Cheka though in his first couple months, and there's a big luck in grabbing that first pick because if they had to give that
Yeah.
pick up to Boston,
Oh man.
their offseason suddenly looks way different, right?
Absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
no, I mean, Radish would be someone to be excited about, but you're not going to be like, okay, add Radish and this team's now going to be competing in the East. Probably not, but you get Gavin McKenna in there, and he's a rookie, but can he put up 70 points as a rookie? Maybe. Would that be too much? He definitely gives a dynamic on the power play, as does Radish with his big slap shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've had to kind of fix
Oh,
that. Um, well, we'll see. Maybe Matthew Nyes can take another step as long as they don't trade him. We'll see.
yeah. I
And the other young kid, Easton Cowan, looks like he's coming along. So
yeah, well, okay, let's I know there's probably more to come, but as of today, are they back to being a playoff team, do you think?
um, yeah, I think they're a playoff team in the East.
They've got Montreal to contend with in their division. They've got
I don't think they're better than Montreal.
no, I they've got Buffalo in their division.
I don't think they're better than Buffalo.
Boston, I don't really know where Boston is
I think
anymore
they're
right
better
now,
than
but
Boston.
yeah. And who am I? Ottawa, they've got to be better than Ottawa.
I think they're better than Ottawa.
Ottawa's done a lot of
Detroit
reeling
Detroit
and
doesn't look like it's making the step that everyone was hoping. Ottawa looks like they're taking a step back now, and Detroit
mhm.
might be if Larkin ends up pushing his way out. Tampa, I don't think
Tampa,
Tampa is what they were last. Like they're always good, but I don't think they're as dominant as they were a few years ago.
they're probably aging out, right? So,
And Florida
or
still
Florida,
is real
Florida.
old. They're going to be nasty, but I mean, the Kachuk brothers are young, but Barkov's coming back off missing an entire year. I guess he played pretty well in the World Championships and looks fine, but they'll have a
Mhm.
big first line and Marchand, I guess, on the second line, and Listerine and Lundell. I guess those are their two top lines, but They don't have much
Brothers,
depth
yeah.
behind it, so they get a couple injuries, then they can be in trouble real quick too. So
Okay.
I
Another one name that's out there that hasn't signed. Um, Zach Werenski. Apparently he
he
says he wants to stay with the Blue Jackets, right?
apparently now, yeah,
S-
apparently he wanted out, and then he vetoed a trade, and he's like, "What are you guys doing? I want to stay."
Do you
That's what
think
it seems like.
do you think he stays? I don't know.
Maybe for a little while. I don't think the Blue Jackets are going to be able to compete.
That's one franchise I really feel for. Apparently they have fantastic attendance numbers and always have, but they've never done anything outside of winning one playoff round ever. Like
They had
they've,
the real exciting Rick Nash year.
yeah. And I think things were when Johnny Hockey went there and things were starting to look up, but that was a very unfortunate turn of events, to say the least. So, um, yeah, I just feel bad for Columbus. I feel like they deserve better. Um, anyways,
The market
that's
certainly does. Yeah, I think
I think
they
you can,
brand it. They brand it uniquely too. Like I like the Canon and all that type of stuff. They're their own. They're
yeah.
their own market. Like it's nice to see.
hmm Um, that brings us to the fantasy league. The whole reason this podcast started. The whole reason we talk about all these different sporting news items. We're getting to the point that it's time to start making decisions for next year.
You had posted the proposed rule changes that I
Absolutely.
think everyone is supposed to take a look at before the end of this week by July
Abs
6th.
yes, sir.
Um, and then there's going to be some votes happening, is my understanding.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's where we're at. You're 100% correct. And so we're going to get through this weekend, enjoy Canada Day and all that kind of stuff. And then I think it's time to start voting. I know Garrett really wants to get together as a league, Zoom call like this, and maybe have some conversations before we put the vote out. So the
Mm.
first vote will be when are you guys available to do that? And if we can make it happen, that would be great. So PHL folks, keep a lookout for that. I will next week at some point put that will be the first vote. If we can make that happen, great. If not, we're gonna move on to just voting on the rules. Any thoughts you want to throw out to the league in terms of what you're thinking for the next season?
Um, it's a lot of rule changes.
There's a
Um,
lot of things on the board,
I
absolutely.
guess to be mindful of that, I think change is okay.
Yeah,
Um, but if we're going to make changes, I really think we need a strong electorate is what we need. We need the numbers of voters to come out to the poll booths and put down their votes for things. We don't want six people voting and then make changes based on a small, like a subsect of what the league wants.
sure. I agree with that. And with 12 teams, six would, of course, be 50%, right? So you would want at least seven votes to pass, to say majority vote. But I almost wonder if, and that's one of the things we can talk about, is saying, you know, maybe it's a better idea to make that number eight and get a consensus from the league that's more than just barely the majority.
If you're gonna make a change, it should be um, you should have at least two-thirds of the people voting for that change. 8 of 12.
I could get behind that. Absolutely. That makes sense too. Um, so definitely something to
Otherwise,
talk
the
about there.
default is to stay as it is, type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Now I do think for the sake of not freshening things up, but for the sake of adjusting things to what the game is, because the game continues to evolve, right? Um, I do think, especially after the last couple years of not that we weren't willing to look at change, but I think the change came in adding two new teams to our fantasy league, and I think that was where the focus was. And I will also, as I've admitted before, probably hadn't been as focused on the commissioner roles as I could have been in the past couple years. Um, and I'd still be willing to hand that over to somebody else if they wanted to, but nobody seems to want to. So,
We just don't want to lose you in that role.
um, yeah, I definitely think it's time to look to make some
I
significant
think when you add a
changes.
couple teams, you also change the depth of field
Yeah, absolutely.
at different positions, and that can change the balance in different ways in terms of the positional strengths.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
maybe that we had created some rigidity in the past, and maybe that's an opportunity to open some bit more flexibility with how people create their rosters. But
Absolutely. And
I think
that's the
you guys had talked about that on the pod, um,
absolutely. Yep.
specifically with the goaltending position. But
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways, with that all in mind, we will start addressing that in the upcoming week. And I'm excited, especially after seeing all the changes that have happened in terms of player movement the last couple weeks. I'm excited to start moving towards that season again and getting back in there and building our
we had
rosters.
fun
So,
time evaluating players with all the movement.
mhm.
Um, just in terms of how are you going to rank your goalies this year? Like it's good that they're all jumping everywhere, and
Yeah.
yeah,
How does
power plays are going to all look different, and um, it's line combos. I guess we'll see at the preseason what kind of things are shaking out and how the experts are laying out the rankings. But usually it's August it comes out, right? The
Yeah,
football first.
football
They always do the
is
football first, and then sometime like before the NFL season starts, they I guess mid-August they drop they reopen the league with all the new players and stuff.
yeah, absolutely. You're right. Yeah.
And just as a reminder, when they do that, if I'm first to grab Gavin McKenna, then he's not draft eligible, right? I can just keep him.
Yeah, no, no. He is not eligible. In fact, Captain has the first overall pick, I believe, in the upcoming.
He
If
does for now. We'll see.
okay, so we'll see. We'll see. Does he grab him with that pick? Does he trade that pick? We'll see what happens. So,
He's already
uh,
got two offers in his inbox. So
there you go. There you go,
yeah,
Captain. I know you don't listen, but if you decide to listen, Pete's looking.
he knows. He's replied. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, interesting. All right. Well, and that's something else that we can remind everyone of now that we've seen all this movement and all that. We can
There's
still
no
make
trade
man
deadline in my brain
no, and
for
there
any league.
and we're more than able to do manual movement right now. So I believe
Oh,
it's still open. I'll just double check that.
I think you're
But
right. It's still open
yeah,
technically.
it's still open, so I can do any manual movement for any kind of trade right now. It hasn't done the yearly lockout, so and I don't think it's going to this year, from my understanding. I have a subscription to Yahoo Plus because of how many of these
Is it
leagues.
beneficial to be able to do moves early, do you think? Just because some people may be less tuned in than others.
I think absolutely if you're paying attention and you can get a move in before somebody else is paying attention. That's kind of on other people for not paying attention, right? So,
That's fair.
yeah,
So I'll send you my Jack Eichel trade ideas.
okay, I'm willing to listen.
Okay.
And for that, thanks for coming out this week, Pete. I appreciate you filling in for Garrett.
Hey, happy to be here. This was fun. Thanks for inviting me. Anytime.
Absolutely. All right.
Anytime my stomach agrees.
It sounds great. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you all next week.
All right. See you, folks.